Elon Musk is making his way throughout the news because he's decided to buy Twitter. He bought Twitter for, mistake me if I'm wrong, $44 billion. I personally hate Twitter and think it's the worst social media app of all time. I also hate TikTok, but that's a story for another day. Love YouTube. So thank you guys for watching me on YouTube. Please subscribe. Anyways, Elon Musk decided to buy Twitter. And do we know Elon Musk's inner thoughts? No. Can we guess as to why he's buying it? Yes, because it's a very popular social media app, but it needs direction. It needs a change of tune, because I predicted many years ago, 2 years ago, that Twitter's going to be going down the crap hole if they keep on censoring things. This is the lady who censors things. And she went on Joe Rogan's podcast. Elon Musk tweeted about her, like, we have to take context into consideration of Twitter's left-wing bias, okay? Twitter's interpretation of the context is affected by the left-wing bias. This is an Elon Musk tweet. Elon Musk has now bought Twitter, so you have to think maybe her job is in jeopardy here. She makes about $17 million a year just by taking over the censorship of Twitter. So that it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But here's Elon Musk's Twitter. And after the news came out about him buying Twitter, he said, "I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter, because that is what free speech means." If you guys don't know what free speech means, it's the freedom to speak freely. And that's not something that happens on Twitter a lot, because often a lot of, especially right-wing opinions, get taken down. I am kind of happy that Elon Musk is buying Twitter, because kind of Twitter has just become a left-wing breeding ground for hatred. They are allowed to bash people on the right, and they don't face any consequences. Meanwhile, people on the right will be banned. It also happens on TikTok. It also happens on a lot of other social media platforms. But today we're just focusing on Twitter. So Elon Musk said, "Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated," said Mr. Musk. "I also want to make Twitter better than ever by enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithm and open source to increase trust, defeating the spam bots, and authenticating all humans. Twitter has tremendous potential. I look forward to working with the company and the community of users to unlock it." So hopefully no more freaking Twitter bots. That would be great. Later on, Elon Musk tweeted, "The extreme antibody reaction from those who fear free speech says it all. By free speech, I simply mean what matches the law. I am against censorship that goes far beyond the law." So he's against what Twitter's been doing for a very long time. "If people want less free speech, they will ask government to pass laws to that effect. Therefore, going beyond the law is contrary to the will of the people." So basically, he's just saying, hey man, if you can't be put in jail for it, you should be able to say it on social media. He talked about True Social, which is the Donald Trump app. I don't know. I don't have it. I don't want it. It's terrible. But then, we already looked at this tweet. Then he said, "For Twitter to deserve public trust, it must be politically neutral," which effectively means upsetting the far right and the far left equally. The far right aren't going to be upset by this, in my opinion, because they just want to be able to be allowed back on Twitter without having their stuff censored. I don't think the right is afraid of hearing differing political opinions like the left is. I mean, I don't like the left or the right, to be honest. I kind of vary on their issues, but when it comes to free speech, I definitely align more with the right, because the left can't hear differing opinions, and if we can't have opinions, if we can't have meaningful conversation, then we're not going to advance as a society. We're just going to go back, and we're just going to repeat history because we aren't allowed to learn from it. It's not a good thing. That's why I allow people to say what they want to on my comments. It's whatever. Sometimes I'll delete them if they hurt my feelings, but other than that, I'll talk to you about it. Just kidding. But funny, next time buying Coca-Cola to put the cookie in. But haha. Anyway, maximum fun. I'm going to McDonald's and fix all the ice cream machines. Elon Musk, the memer. I love it. Then people started calling into question, oh, he's just going to make this a Republican right-wing breeding ground. So he was like, I'm not right-wing. I was left-wing. And then I was in the center because the left started getting more progressive. And the woke progressive got so far left, I became a conservative. Which I feel like has happened to a lot of people because the Democrats have just gone so far off the rails. You just can't really do anything. But I wouldn't say he would identify himself as a Republican, nor I. But he said the far left hates everyone, themselves included, which is true. But I'm not a fan of the far right either. Let's have less hate and more love. Elon Musk just wants to love you, you know. But yeah, I think he wants to make Twitter private, which apparently Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter, who got a bag when Elon Musk bought Twitter, by the way, he said he wanted it to be private. Here's that from Insider.com, BusinessInsider.com, saying he whispered in Elon Musk's ear that the social media platform ought to be a private company. And other billionaire contacts pushed Musk to pursue the takeover deal he ultimately made. So I guess that means what? Will we not be able to buy stock in Twitter? Somebody comment down below if you're a business bro, because I don't know a lot about stocks. My dad teaches economics, but not me, unfortunately. I think this TikToker summed it up well. This pretty much lines up with my opinion on everything that's happening. So we'll watch this.
And blue check Twitter is having. So Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion. Dang, that's a lot of money. And blue check Twitter is having an absolute meltdown. This was my personal favorite.
By the way, blue check Twitter is like the activists and like everybody like that's who. I'm pretty sure this is a very right-wing creator. This is who right-wing creators like usually call it. They're like, oh, blue check Twitter is gonna hate this one guy. So I guess.
What could $44 billion have done for the climate crisis?
Nothing, because the climate crisis isn't real. I mean, look out my window. It's freaking still cold outside, and it's May. Like, I sure could use global warming right now, am I right? Where's global warming when you need it?
I don't know, Rachel. Maybe he could build electric cars. So people are screaming, this is going to ruin our free speech. Here's the thing. When they say free speech, they mean they won't be able to speak freely. And by freely, I mean without opposition. Not without consequence, without opposition. Right now, if you say anything that goes against the popular narrative, whether or not it's factually true, it can get you suspended on Twitter. So many people on Twitter have been enjoying being able to say whatever they want without having to deal with a dissenting opinion. But that's not how discourse works. A gentle reminder for those who need reminding. Spray painting a slur on a synagogue, that's hate speech. Nazi propaganda. Hate speech. An opinion you don't like that challenges your belief system, that's not hate speech. You just hate it. If you really believed what you claim to believe, you'd be able to defend it. So
it's not hate speech, you just hate it. I don't normally agree with everything this TikToker says, but that was very well put in my opinion, so yeah. So yeah, like, what do you guys think is gonna happen to Twitter? Should I get a Twitter now that, I mean, I have a Twitter, but I'm never on it. I literally just see what people think about Survivor on there, my favorite TV show. That's the only reason I'm on Twitter, but I hate Twitter. And I've said publicly I don't think Elon Musk is gonna make me go back to Twitter, but who knows? Because right now it's just terrible, you know? But Twitter's known for being like the town square, like it was said in that article earlier. Like, it's where people have conversation and you talk to each other, and it just hasn't been able to be that because it's been so toxic and the censorship. So I think with a mixture of less censorship and people learning how to have meaningful conversations with each other without trying to cancel one another, then maybe Twitter can turn into something positive. But I don't really see either sides of the political aisle participating in that, because it seems like the left will get really offended and try to cancel each other, and then the right might return that favor back, and with some hateful speech in that too, some actual hateful speech. So you just never know. I hope Twitter becomes great again, but I don't think that will be the case. Then this also opens up another can of worms. Will Donald Trump be allowed back on Twitter, because he was famously banned and made his own social media app? So that's a whole other issue and a whole other thing. I think Musk has gone on the record to say that he wants Donald Trump to be back on it. So, golly, that's just a whole other can of worms that I don't feel like talking about. But this is what is happening. And in my opinion, Twitter's still going to be crap. But maybe I'll give it a try if I see some changes happening. I am keeping a close eye on it. But don't worry about my Twitter. Worry about my YouTube. Worry about subscribing to this and turning the notification bell on so you can watch all my uploads. And don't forget, I love you very much, and I want to kiss. I hope you have an amazing day.